I built this entire retaining wall for less than the cost of a pizza night, and it's made almost completely from stuff most people throw straight into a dumpster. Broken concrete, cracked bricks, old curbstones, the kind of junk you'd normally pay someone to haul away. But instead of paying to get rid of it, I used it to build something that actually looks like it belongs in a high-end backyard makeover. If you've got a sloped yard, drainage problems, broken concrete lying around, or even just some old pallets collecting dust in the garage, stick with me. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to turn other people's trash into something that looks like it cost $1,000 without spending more than $45. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's project is one of my favorite kinds. The ones where you walk away spending almost nothing, but the result looks like a professional landscaper did it. We're building a retaining wall using broken concrete chunks, leftover bricks, free pallet wood, and a few cheap basics from the hardware store. Total cost? Under $45. I'll show you exactly what materials to look for, where to find them for free, and the step-by-step process so your wall is sturdy, holds back soil properly, and actually looks intentional, not like a junk pile. Let's get into it. Step 1. Sourcing your materials. The biggest myth in DIY landscaping is that you need to buy brand new stone, pavers, or concrete blocks to build something that looks good. You don't. Some of the best retaining wall material is sitting in dumpsters, driveways, and curbside piles right now. I sourced mine from 3 places: a neighbor who was tearing out an old driveway, a construction dumpster near a renovation site. Always ask the crew or homeowner for permission first, and the free section on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, where people constantly post leftover pavers, broken patio slabs, and old bricks just to get rid of them. What you're looking for is broken concrete chunks, old curbstones, chunky bricks, and flat stone pieces. These are retaining wall gold because they're heavy enough to hold soil back, naturally flat on at least one side, and stack together almost like puzzle pieces once you start sorting them by size. Step 2. Prepping the site. Before you stack a single brick, the site prep is what determines whether your wall lasts 5 years or 5 months. Start by marking out the footprint of your wall with stakes and string so you have a clean line to follow. Then dig a trench along that line, roughly 6 to 8 inches deep and slightly wider than your base material. This trench is crucial. It gives your foundation layer somewhere to sit below grade, which prevents the whole wall from sliding forward over time as soil pressure builds behind it. Once the trench is dug, use a hand tamper or even the flat end of a shovel to compact the soil at the bottom until it feels firm and solid. Add a 1 to 2 inch layer of gravel or crushed stone into the trench and tamp that down too. This gravel base improves drainage and gives you a stable, adjustable surface to set your first row of materials on. Step 3. The base layer. This is, without question, the most important step in the entire build, because every other layer depends on how well this one is set. Take your largest, heaviest, and flattest pieces of salvage concrete or brick and lay them along the trench, flat side up. Use a level on top of each piece, checking both side to side and front to back. If a piece is sitting too high, dig out a bit more gravel underneath it. If it's too low, add a thin layer of sand or small gravel to shim it up. Take your time here. Even a slight lean in the base layer will multiply as you build higher, causing the whole wall to tilt. It helps to dry fit several pieces together before settling on a final arrangement, almost like solving a puzzle. So the gaps between pieces are as small and tight as possible for maximum stability. Step 4. Building up the wall. Once your base is rock solid and level, it's time to start building height. And this is where the high-end look really comes from. The trick is staggering your joints, exactly like a brick wall pattern. Never place a piece directly on top of the seam where 2 pieces below meet. Instead, position it so it bridges across that seam. This does 2 things. It dramatically increases the structural strength of the wall by distributing weight more evenly, and it creates a woven, intentional-looking pattern instead of a stack of random rubble. As you add each new row, mix and match piece sizes, so larger chunks anchor the corners and edges, while smaller pieces fill gaps. Slightly angle each row back into the slope, about 1 inch of lean for every foot of height. This is called batter, and it helps the wall resist the pressure of the soil pushing forward over time. Step 5. Backfilling as you go. A lot of beginner builders make the mistake of finishing the entire wall first and then dumping soil behind it all at once. And that's exactly how walls fail. Instead, backfill in stages as you build each row. After placing a layer of your wall material, immediately fill the space directly behind it with gravel or crushed stone. Then compact it down before moving to the next row. This gravel backfill is critical because it creates a drainage channel, allowing rainwater to flow down and out instead of pooling behind your wall and turning the soil into heavy, saturated mud that pushes outward with enormous force. If you want to get extra technical, you can lay a strip of landscape fabric between the gravel and your topsoil to keep dirt from clogging the drainage layer over time. This step alone is the difference between a wall that survives years of rain and one that bulges or collapses after the first big storm. Step 6. The finishing touches. Once you've reached your desired height, it's time to think about the details that make people stop and say, "Wait, you built that." Save your flattest, most uniform, and best-looking pieces for the very top row. This is your cap layer, and it's the first thing anyone's eye will land on, so it needs to look clean and consistent. If your salvage pieces are a bit uneven on top, you can use a thin mortar mix to level and seat the capstones for a smoother finish. For extra character, repurpose leftover pallet wood as a trim edge along the top, or build small box planters from pallet boards that sit directly on the cap layer. You can also use leftover bricks standing on their sides as a decorative border along the front edge of the wall. These small touches signal designed, not leftover, and they cost you nothing beyond materials you likely already have. Step 7. Final soil and planting. The very last step is what brings the whole project to life. Behind your finished wall, add a final layer of quality topsoil or compost, filling it in to about an inch below the top of the wall to allow room for mulch or plants. Now comes the fun part, softening that hard edge with greenery. Low, spreading plants like creeping thyme, sedum, creeping phlox, or ornamental grasses work beautifully along retaining walls because they cascade over the edge and visually blend the structure into the landscape. If you built planter boxes from pallet wood on top, fill those with the same soil and plant flowers, herbs, or small shrubs for extra color. Finish by adding a layer of mulch over any exposed soil to lock in moisture and give everything a tidy, finished appearance. Stand back, take a photo, and compare it to where you started. That transformation is what makes this project so satisfying. So there you have it, a retaining wall that looks like it belongs in a high-end landscaping magazine, built almost entirely from materials other people were throwing away. Broken concrete, old bricks, leftover pallets, and a tiny bit of sand and gravel. That's the whole budget. If you're dealing with a sloped yard, erosion, or just an ugly patch of dirt you've been ignoring for years, this is honestly one of the best wow factor for the price projects you can tackle this summer. And here's the thing. Once you start looking at junk piles and dumpsters differently, you'll never look at your yard the same way again. Every broken slab becomes an opportunity. If this gave you ideas, smash that like button. Subscribe for more budget backyard transformations, and drop a comment letting me know what junk to treasure project you want to see next. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.